What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Day Moolah Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. And man, Steve Ballmer and the Clippers did it, y'all. After I told these boys not to do it, the Sixers are acquiring Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, multiple draft picks, and a pick swap for James Harden and PJ Tucker. And I respect to this brother. I know he is, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. But respect to you, my guy. So, y'all, the Clippers did it. The Clippers are hitching their wagon to a 32-year-old Kawhi Leonard, a soon to be in May 34-year-old Paul George, and now a 34-year-old James Harden. And also they have Russell Westbrook, who's going to be 35. Man, Steve Ballmer, let me say this. Like I said in my James Harden video, bruh, just because you got a lot of money does not mean you know how to run an NBA franchise. Because y'all, the Clippers do not own their draft pick until the year 2030. Think about that, y'all. 2030. When we know that Paul George, Kawhi, James Harden, and Russ won't even be on this team by then. They will probably more than likely all be retired at that point. I mean, I cannot believe Steve Ballmer. And listen, I know he loves this, man. He loves going after the big names. Oh, it's James Harden, man. Oh, we got James Harden with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and Russ and Vika Zubac. Listen, I get it. But at the end of the day, man, Steve Ballmer, what you are doing is very dangerous, my brother. Very, very dangerous. Because James Harden is not the player he used to be. Is he still an all-star caliber player? Yes, he is. He gave you 21 points last year, 6 rebounds, led the league in assists with 10.7, almost 39% from the three. Yes, he's still an all-star caliber player, but he's not the same guy that he used to be. And now you're bringing him on the team with Russell Westbrook, who's ball dominant. So I have no idea how Russ and James Harden are going to play. We saw these problems happen in Houston. Now, listen, in Houston, it looked great in the regular season. What happened when it came playoff time? And now they're not the same guys they were. That was 2019. Russ and James Harden aren't the same players from then. That was 4 years ago, man. James Harden was 30. Russ Westbrook was 31. They ain't the same dudes no more. And not only do you have Russ on the team, but you still got Bones Highland and you got Norman Powell. Bones Highland and Norman Powell, what are they, y'all? Two small, undersized scoring guards. So think about that. That's what redundancy. Why do you need James Harden and Russ, Bones Highland, and Norman Powell? All of them need the ball in their hands. Now, Norman Powell, he can catch and shoot, but he still needs the ball in his hands to really be, effective. Bones Highland, we definitely know he needs the ball in his hand. He's not a great defender. Norman Powell's not a great defender. James Harden has never been a great defender. Now he's gotten older. Russ has never been a great defender, even though at times Russ can show great effort. He's never been a great defender. So I'm just trying to understand what in the world are the Clippers doing? Because you're hitching your wagon to a bunch of older guys whose prime, let's be honest, man, you can maybe make an argument and say Kawhi and Paul George are still in their primes, but I mean, I I, I don't know. It's so hard to say because they've dealt with so many injuries. We know obviously Russell Westbrook is past his prime, and same with James Harden. But I don't get this for the Clippers. Why do y'all keep doing this to yourselves, man? Think about this, y'all. The Clippers are in year 5 of Kawhi and Paul George. That's half of a decade, and they haven't even made it to the NBA Finals. Forget winning; these boys hadn't even made it to the NBA Finals, and now they think because they're adding a 34-year-old James Harden, who has literally been on 14 since 2020, man. Since 2020, the 2020 season, he started with the Rockets. Then he got mad and wanted to trade. Got up out there, went to the Nets. Then he requested a trade, went to the Sixers, requested another trade. Now he's on the Clippers. Maybe on 14 since 2020. And the Clippers really think this is the guy. And listen again, y'all, James Harden is still a good player. He's still an all-star caliber player, but I just don't understand this. It doesn't make sense from a fit perspective. And here's the thing, James Harden has never been, what has been his Achilles heel, man, the playoffs. We just saw what he did against the Celtics, man, in Game 7. He was atrocious Game 7. He was atrocious in Game 7 against the Celtics. And he's only getting older, y'all. As a play, and James Harden, one thing, man, about him is his game has not aged well. Some players, their game ages well. Steph Curry, LeBron, Jimmy Butler. As these guys have gotten older, their game has not gotten any older. And that's the great news. Because they got other ways to impact the game. Obviously, LeBron, his playmaking, again, James Harden's a great playmaker. But LeBron can play off the ball. James Harden cannot play off the ball. Steph Curry can play off the ball. Jimmy Butler can play off the ball. James Harden cannot play off the ball. So if you got Kawhi and Paul George out there ISO and doing their thing, what is James Harden going to do? Just be standing at the top of the key? And you don't think he's not going to get pissed off about that? I mean, I just don't get what the Clippers are doing. You're still not better than the Lakers. You're not better than the Nuggets. Man, OKC is coming, ain't they, y'all? OKC is coming. SGA, Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is shooting like 60% from the 3 right now. Josh Giddey, Sacramento. Man, this Western Conference is super loaded. Even the Warriors, I gotta give them credit. The Warriors look pretty solid right now. Still think the Warriors are too small, but really, Clippers? Really? You are hitching your wagon to aging stars. I just don't understand it. Excuse me, when you look at it, y'all, James Harden, this might be a 1-year thing because y'all know James Harden, bro. One thing about James Harden, if he don't get his way, he'll bounce up out of there now. He didn't get his way with the Rockets. What happened? Like, nah, I don't want to do this no more. Give me to Brooklyn. Got to Brooklyn. It started being a whole lot of drama there in Brooklyn. He's like, nah, get me out of here. I want to go to Philly. Went to Philly. Him and Doc Rivers was getting into it. Didn't work out. I want to go to the Clippers. So what happens? Because this is the thing. The Clippers, basically what the Clippers have set themselves up for is if we don't win it this year, it's done. I mean, you got to go for it. You got to win it this year. Excuse me, not go for it. No, you got to win it this year. The Clippers have to win the championship this year. Because if not, there's a great possibility James Harden is out of there. And then you got to start asking yourself, bruh, do we really sign a 33-year-old Kawhi to a contract extension? Do we sign a 34-year-old Paul George to a contract extension? Because you talking about next year will be year 6 of this. Like, how much longer can the Clippers continue to do this same song and dance over and over and over again, man? That record is scratched, y'all. The Clippers record is scratched, and it's time to put a new CD in. Or VHS tape for all my older people out there. Put a new one in, man. Because that old one is jacked up now. And what I didn't like in this trade, the Clippers gave up that one young piece they did have, man. The little bit of athleticism they did have is now gone to KJ Martin. And you get back PJ Tucker, who's getting ready to be 39. So what are the Clippers doing? Just building. I mean, man, listen, this would look great if this is 2017 or 18 or 19, but it ain't. This is almost 2024. And this team has no athleticism, man. No athleticism. A bunch of one-way players, ball dominant players. It just to me it just doesn't fit. Are they gonna are they gonna win games? Yes, of course they're gonna win games because they're talent. But I'm saying when it comes down to the playoffs, the Clippers don't care about no regular season. It's the playoffs with them. Those crunch time moments. Who's gonna take the shot? Because James Harden's gonna go to Ty Lue and be like, I want the ball in my hands. But then Ty Lue's gonna be looking around like, man, I got Kawhi and Paul George. So how you think that's gonna work, y'all? Now you talking about Ty Lue has to deal with all those personalities, not really Kawhi's, but James Harden and Russ. And what about Bones Highland? We already know, we heard the stuff that happened in Denver with Bones Highland, how he started complaining about his role. Where's he gonna do now? Because now the Clippers, I mean, I don't know what you do with him and Norman Powell. What do you do with him? I mean, y'all, man, the Clippers, they did it again. And for the Sixers, I know I haven't talked about the Sixers. For the Sixers, dude, y'all had to do this. James Harden didn't want to be there any longer. No point in keeping a guy that don't want to be on the team, right? Just get rid of him. At least you got back KJ Martin. I really like KJ Martin. Obviously, Marcus Morris, I mean, he's 34. Nick Batum, Robert Covington, they're all like, they're okay, right? They're okay. Nick Batum and Robert Covington obviously are pretty. They're still, even though as they got older, they're still pretty solid defenders. But for the Sixers, man, listen, you had to do this. You already got a young guard, man. Tyrese Maxey is so freaking good, y'all. Man, Tyrese Maxey is so darn good. The Sixers, listen, y'all still got Joel Embiid, but obviously, Daryl Morey, the time is now, my brother. The time is now, though, with Joel Embiid. You want to make the right trade, but the time is now. Because if the Sixers, man, I think, listen, and this is my opinion, but I feel like if the Sixers do not make it past the second round in the playoffs again, I think Joel Embiid requests a trade. I really think he does because at one point, man, or excuse me, at some point, Joel Embiid has to be sitting back looking like, bro, I'm not even anywhere close to competing for a championship. Think about all the pieces that the Sixers brought in. Ben's obviously been, draft Ben Simmons. That didn't work out. Markelle Fultz, that didn't work out. Al Horford, remember they even had Al Horford for that year. Josh Richardson, Jimmy Butler, who they should have kept, but Tobias Harris and the Sixers, all that, man, they hadn't even been able to get out the second round of the playoffs. So for Daryl Morey, this is now or never, bro. You got to go out and get another all-star level player. I'm not saying you got to get a superstar, but you need to get like an all-star level player. Because what you don't want to happen is Joel Embiid asks for a trade, which, like I said, y'all, just my opinion, I feel like he would do that. If the Sixers don't get out of the second round of playoffs again, I think Joel Embiid's going to be looking like, man, when are we ever going to do this thing? Because we got the Celtics, we got the Bucks. When are we ever going to get past these boys? We got a young Indiana Patriots squad that's going to be getting better. Same thing with the Magic. The Magic will only continue to get better. He's going to look around and be like, man, the Knicks, when are we really going to be able to compete for a championship? So for the Sixers side of things, though, like I said, James Harden want to be there. Obviously, he called Daryl Morey a liar. It was just time for y'all to go your separate ways. So I get it. But for the Clippers, man, once again, y'all, absolutely dumb move. Not because James Harden is not a good player, but for the Clippers, this is not what you needed. If you wanted a guard, how about y'all go out and trade for Malcolm Brogdon? Malcolm Brogdon, man, he's a high character guy, very good veteran, locker room presence. He doesn't need the ball. He plays defense, can shoot the three. Very efficient player, very smart player. Why don't y'all trade for Malcolm Brogdon? Instead, you trade for James Harden, who's 34, playoff struggles, doesn't play defense, man. Whose body is really, I mean, his body is declining, y'all. It is. Very moody. And if he don't get his way or if things don't go well this year, he's not gonna be back next year, y'all. He just not. So for Steve Ballmer, like I said again, for the Clippers, they are hitching their wagon to Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden. Man, if this was 2017, 18, and 19, it would have been great. But it's almost 2024, y'all, and it's not. Because you're hitching your wagon to three players that are getting older, whose bodies are getting older. Kawhi and Paul George obviously been injured a lot. James Harden hasn't been injured as much, but you can just see his body's deteriorating. That's why he can't even make the same moves that he used to. He can't create the same space like he used to be able to on his step back moves. He can't do it anymore because his body, he's gotten slower, man. So for the Clippers, you bringing in another guard, ball dominant, can't play defense. Well, you already got that on your team now. In Bones Highland, Norman Pound Rush, you already got that. But y'all know Steve Ballmer, man, he loves to go big game hunting. But sometimes, man, y'all can, hey, you can go hunting, but you go hunting for the wrong thing. And that's what Clippers did, man. I just feel like, yes, they're gonna win games in the regular season. Yeah, everybody knows it because they got the talent. But I just feel like, man, when it's crunch time in the playoffs, and you got all these just ball dominant guys, these ISO players, and we know in the playoffs that intensity rises, that defense only gets better. So what is the Clippers' option going to be? Just, hey, your turn, my turn, and then Kawhi's turn. Okay, Paul George, we're going to throw the ball to you. Then next possession, we give it to James Harden. Next possession, we give it to Kawhi. Then we give it to Russ. That's going to be their offense, man, just ISO basketball, which they already play right now. And that's what's messed the Clippers up in the 5 years with Paul George and Kawhi. All they do is just play ISO basketball. And in the playoffs, man, that's going to get you beat. You saw look what made the Nuggets so great, man. All the cutting, the moving, the ball movement they had. Every time the Nuggets come down, you see that players were constantly cutting and moving, trying to create space for one another. The Clippers, what they do, they just get the ball to Kawhi, Paul George, and Russ. ISO ball, that's it. Now you add another guy in James Harden. So, final thoughts, Clippers, y'all messed up. Sixers, you did a good job because you have to get rid of James Harden. He didn't want to be there any longer, so ain't no sense in keeping a guy that no longer wants to be on your team. But Steve Ballmer, man, I just can't believe you, bro. You done it again. I know that ain't correct English, but this brother has done it again. That was another episode of the Zay Moolah Sports Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all know I'm in it, man. God bless. I love y'all. Peace.